it 5 seconds, Greg.
All right. I'll let you start, Jim.
Good afternoon, all. Welcome to the XBE Thrive series called the Service Line Micro for Opportunity Clearinghouse. I appreciate you guys all spending the time today. Want to spend a little bit of time and let you know who the Diversity Consortium is. We are a group of supplier diversity advocacy organization that helps XBEs grow their business while helping corporations build and deploy their supplier diversity programs. Just to tell you a little bit about who we are 25 organizations, all in the world of diversity consulting, all with the skill sets to help corporations and XBEs grow the supplier diversity space. The performance of the supplier diversity space over the last several decades has been lackluster. So we formed to see if we could not grow a predictable strategy across the industry to improve both the supplier diversity performance inside corporations and the growth within XBEs. We're represented by thousands of customers, all referenceable. We have hundreds of employees, and we have over $1 billion of working capital to help XBEs grow. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the XBE services of Opportunity Clearinghouse. As you can see on the slide in front of you, we have 25 service lines that we offer, 13 of those up market to the Fortune 1000 and 12 down market to the XBE, the service, the disadvantaged business enterprises of all types. So veteran, women, minorities. We refer to that entire group inclusively by XBE. Today, we're going to be talking about the Opportunity Clearinghouse, how to find opportunities and how to respond to them with the highest probability of success. We have a couple of partners that help us in the provision of this service line set. The collaborative work environment, which provides us the IT backbone to be able to search databases, both for opportunities from a corporate perspective and suitable provision on the XBE side, those that have the right NIST codes and qualify based on geography and capabilities. Smartegies provides marketing support and the provision of RFP proposal responses and other marketing support. Lazar provides categorization and spend matrix from corporations and from XBEs. And TPC Research provides market research and able to help find the organizations that best suit the requirements of the corporate owners. Today, as a part of the Opportunities Clearinghouse, the micro and the conversation we're going to have today is improving your chances with a corporate RFP and increasing your chances to win. Just a little bit of housekeeping for you. We're going to be operating here today on Teams. So there is a chat bar to the right on your dashboard so that you can ask questions or you can participate in the surveys that'll be taking place. Certainly you have volume. Everyone is on mute from an audience perspective. So please log them in the chat bar. We will be having some open discussion and dealing with some question and answers later. So please feel free to enter them there. We do have a fairly large audience today, so we would ask if you have any challenges or you don't get your question answered, please just let us know following, and we'll give you a list of all of the questions that have been answered post this session. So thank you very much. At this point, what I want to do is introduce the panelists. Greg Brooks with the Diversity Consortium. He serves as the Director of Technology. He's going to be spending a bit of time with us today, handling the kind of the situation and the problem in the industry, the difficulty in getting all of these data sources to kind of come together to give XBEs a whole view of what the marketplace looks like. So I'm going to turn it over, Greg. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Good evening or good afternoon or good morning, wherever you may be. Welcome to our XBE Thrive series. We're so happy that you can join us today for this Opportunities Clearinghouse event. My name, as Jim mentioned, is Greg. And you're probably still wondering, who am I? Well, you know, I would simply say this so we can get a little bit comfortable and connected. I will let you know that I'm a conglomeration of many things. I am a husband, a father, a consultant, a technologist, a pastor, a businessman. But at the heart of it all, I just want to say that I love to help people discover solutions to their situations, right? And that's really this journey that brought me into the DC, right? We are here really to create the greatest impact for your business. And so as we're getting into this presentation, I just have a quick question for you. If you can see, it's what category and what DBE or category would you say your business is in? If you want to just take a few minutes, that this allows us to check and make sure that you can type in your responses. But if you want to go ahead and just let us know what category you would fall into, whether that's a minority-owned business, a veteran, service-disabled vet, LGBTQ, you name it. You can go ahead and put that there. As we begin, our agenda for today. So what are we going to be looking at? What are we going to cover? We're going to look at 6 different things. One, it's RFP benchmarks for the win. You know, what are some of the benchmarks that you really need to pay attention to? What are some of the challenges around RFPs or procurement opportunities? What is the Opportunities Clearinghouse? What is this service line or service offering all about? How can I identify a good opportunity? What about collaborating with other XBEs and getting proposal support? So we're going to look at all of these different areas. And I have another question as we get started again. See how many of you can guess, and we have someone else who's helping to moderate this in the back end, Chris. And so you can monitor the responses and let me know. But the first question I have here is, how many RFPs do you think companies complete or submit on average per year? How many RFPs do you think companies complete or submit on average per year? I'll give you a few seconds. Chris, you can let me know if anyone is responding. Hopefully no one will be shy. They'll just go ahead and give some number.
Yeah, we got a response of 3 to 5.
Okay, 3 to 5. That's all right. Well, I think you want to multiply that by a multiple of at least 30. Actually, research shows that in 2021, on average, organizations submit 150 RFPs annually. It's crazy when you think about it, right? But those companies with top performing teams who win more than 50% of the RFPs they bid on actually submit a higher volume of RFPs annually, right? Now what it also, research also shows is that this typically requires responding to about 2/3 of the RFPs you receive. So in other words, you will probably consider around 225 RFPs per year. Now imagine going through that if you are a small, diverse XBE company. Do you even have the resources to get to that threshold so you can have the success that you need? The other thing that, again, for benchmarks that's going to help you win is that almost 3/4 of teams use a no-go or go process for RFPs. Do you have such a process, or are you just going by the whim? See, teams realize that having a process in place to determine what they will consider is vital to ensuring that they are not wasting time, right? See, not every proposal is one that you should chase or one that you should run after. There has to be a decision-making process involved to identify if you have enough project insight. Is your team qualified? Do you have the necessary certifications required? And could you get them done on time? The other thing you want to consider in this process is, what is your relationship like with the client? Do you have a connection to that client or not? And can you reuse content from your RFP library? Now, this is making the assumption that you have such a repository, but can you quickly reuse that? Is there competition for this RFP? And then do you really have the capacity or the bandwidth to be successful, right? So if this RFP should hit in 2 months or 3 months, are you tied up or do you have the bandwidth, right? These are some things that you want to consider, benchmarks to consider for the win. But also, number 4 is here. One thing to realize is that a third of RFPs are really an attempt to retain existing customers. So if you realize that there is a third of RFPs really for existing companies, and then one of the strategies benchmarks is to find out who those companies are and to try to align with them, right? Also here, more than a third of organizations surveyed have a dedicated RFP manager, writer, or team. Have you evaluated what your process team looks like? I mean, if you're a small entity, again, it's probably too difficult to have that in place. So what can you do, right? Do you track, do you have any metrics around your RFPs and your win rates? Most companies also finally have some sort of RFP tool or software in place. So the fact is, if you're not considering or looking into some of these benchmarks, then you're probably not going to be as successful as you would like, right? So to win, you really need to maximize the quantity of your RFPs. I know someone suggested 3 to 5, but it really needs to be higher than that in order to have a better success ratio, right? You also want to improve the quality of your response. And how are you going to do that? You want to build and empower an effective proposal team. You want to identify key relationships. You want a process that's going to be measurable. And you also need the proper tools and software. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, that's just the beginning of the potential challenges, right? So, there are really several challenges that I could surmise from research looking into this topic a little bit for over the past couple months. But it's the first challenge is like, where do you really begin? Now, I'm sharing these 4 areas. We're going to go into them a little bit more, but it's where do you begin? It's sometimes overwhelming process trying to identify where to start, right? And you can end up with analysis paralysis in some ways, but there's also the challenge of sifting through RFPs and proposals and getting the appropriate response. There's a challenge of getting the right SMEs, subject matter experts, to help you fulfill the requirements of that RFP. But then there's also the preparation of the document. How can you put it together? So we're going to start by looking at where do you begin. Now, most people, if they'll probably rely on good old Google, right? Google is like a member of everybody's family, right? And so you'd go on Google and you start typing in corporate RFP response opportunities. And I did that, and you can see on the screenshot here that the result actually shows best RFP databases, but there's actually an issue here because most of these databases that are out there are actually available to, are mostly within the government realm. Very few will have access to corporate RFP. So if you're trying to align yourself with a corporation, some of these databases aren't really going to help you there, right? But the next thing, if you're not using a search engine, you may go to try to find, whether a corporate RFP database, and there are a few out there, or you may go to that company's website directly and try to see if you can identify the RFPs. Or you may check within your network, right? Maybe you'll use LinkedIn and reach out to a friend and say, hey, I'm trying to find some business opportunities here. But really, when you look at the whole aspect of where to begin, it really is like trying to find a needle in a haystack, right? It's overwhelming, to say the least. So the second thing that presents itself, mentioned earlier, is sifting through the RFPs, right, and trying to provide the right response. And this is one of the simple truths. Many of the large corporations don't actually post online simply because they get too many responses and it becomes difficult to sort through that. Right. And so usually the procurement manager will have a short list of vendors that they'll send the RFP to, and it becomes really a by invitation only type of deal. So what can you do? I mean, you're going to find yourself, and especially if you're new, a member of my family actually started a business. He's a veteran minority, and started a business and ran into the same issue. Like, man, it's really the case of like who you know. How can you get connected in when it seems so hard to get into that door? And so, what you have to start doing is aligning yourself, right? Realizing that, corporations will go through an RFI or RFEI process, just trying to get a short list of vendors and work from there. Others may poll colleagues and competitors to see who they do business with, so that they can add those referrals to a short list. So it's the challenge is, okay, how can you make yourself to that short list of referrals? And some corporations, they again just have certain vendors that they've worked with over time. So then how can you align yourself with those vendors, right? So all these different methods, corporations utilize, just trying to assess who they may be able to do business with. And so that comes to the next challenge of SMEs. Someone said, when it comes to SMEs, either you have it, either you hire it, right? You can hire for that position, or you can buy it. And one of the ways of buying it, which we will kind of look into and talk a little bit more about, is partners, right? And it kind of connects to the previous point of the fact that corporations are, will have a short list of vendors. So how can you align, if possible, with some of those partners? The final challenge that we want to discuss here of people, especially if you're a new business, have done it. They don't know how to prepare the content. There's a lot of time involved. A lot goes into managing that content and keeping it updated, right? Because you don't want to send out outdated responses when you've improved your processes, right? So you want a system that's easily accessible and that allows you to choose the right answers from a potential group of answers. And the last thing here is that a lot of people, of course, depending again on the volume of RFPs that you're doing too, you may not even have a position internally. And so you lack a good technical writer or a resource. So what are your options? How can you improve your opportunity or your chance for that win? With it here at the DC, this is one of the issues, one of the things that we've given some thought to, because we really want to provide a holistic approach then to opportunities, right? And as you know, the DC is a consortium, and really we believe that there are many consortiums that can be formed within the context or the umbrella of the DC. And that can happen through this opportunity clearinghouse, right? This is, if I can give a a definition, I would say it is a holistic solution of trying to help companies and XBEs effectively and efficiently align around opportunities and RFPs, right? If I said it another way, just think of it as a directory of XBEs, suppliers, with a list of opportunities, and then some business processes, AI, workflows to best match these XBEs and opportunities, no matter the source of that, right? And I really believe in this type of a solution because it's more holistic in nature. You know, there's the old adage or the old saying, you know, you can give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, or you can teach him how to fish and you probably can finish that one. You feed him for a lifetime, right? And that's really the idea here is the right holistic solution that can help your RFP process become more transformative and provide a better opportunity and chance for your win. And what the RFP database does is three things. I'm going to just mention these three things and then we'll make room for some questions and comments or anything that you may have. So the first thing here that I want to touch on is that the opportunity database is all about helping you to find or identify the right opportunity, trying to solve that need in a haystack problem, right? And how does the opportunity database, or clearinghouse rather, do that? You know, you have three different things that you can do. Obviously, you know, one of the things that you can do is create searches or system generated alerts based off your profile, your capabilities, or you know the information within you know what you're looking for, right? So you can create parameters to generate system searches that will identify RFPs that you need to look at or you can be placed in front of you. But the other thing that you can do as well is you can just browse through the system, and as you're browsing through, you can actually just tag opportunities that sound interesting to you, and the system will start trying to match or find similar opportunities. Which kind of leads me to the last point here, this intelligent matching, right? We talk about the number before, again, that on average, you want to do at least 150 RFPs. Now, imagine trying to browse through a directory or a huge list of RFPs, trying to figure out which one really is a good fit for you or not. Of course, you have filters and that will help, but if there could be a better way, such as intelligent or smart matching, so based off your previous opportunities or your NAICS code, your experience, company size, all these different things, that the system can generate a score and provide you a more focused approach now at the RFPs that you're more interested in. Right. And this is obviously going to be building and learning over time because it's going to be putting into place metrics around your win outcome, how many RFPs you've actually submitted through this process and how many of you won, and using that to help inform future RFP opportunities. Right. So one of the great things, and this is something different, right, but helping you to identify that need in a haystack. So you, especially if as a small business, you don't have to waste time trying to dig through when time is precious. And as we know, time is one thing that you cannot get back. And so that looks like intelligent matching, right? Giving you a match score, as you can see here, which you can sort on, filter on, and identify, you know, dynamically the RFPs that is a best fit for you. But that's not the only thing, right? That's one part of the solution. But the other part that we talked about before is trying to align, or number two, finding the right partner. It is incumbent, especially if you're a new company, to try to find the right partner. So how can you do that? How can you align? Now, again, through the system, you can run searches and narrow your results and get to a set of suppliers. But imagine still going through 31,000 plus you know, suppliers, trying to figure out who to align with, right? That's where the system comes in and starts doing some intelligent matching, right? So based on the RFP requirements, the system can identify the top 10 list of partners by this match score that you can align with, All right, and through the system, you have the opportunity now to engage in email and interact with those partners and see if you can find some sort of alignment. And this is great, right? Because you have a central place. I mean, I think it's important to have that central place. As we talked about before, having the right tool is important to have a successful in creating a successful benchmark for the win. So having a tool that can help you match or rather track your interaction with partners, which ones work for you, which ones don't work for you, things of that nature, is going to be key. But the nice thing is, not only can you find the right partner to go into on a corporate RFP or a corporate opportunity. Let's say that you yourself, as a small entity or as a business, a diverse business, you're looking for suppliers to help you meet a need. Well, you can use the system to do that by submitting your own opportunities and then finding a good match or good fit to help that solution or help that situation. But I think, it also comes down to having or finding the right support. A lot of systems out there, they do quite a bit, and which is great. But I think within the DC, we wanted to find, again, a system that allows you to be more collaborative, because building connections is paramount or key to successful RFPs, right? Whether that's partners for actually executing a RFP, or it's actually finding the support needed to do that documentation. And one of the things within the DC that we've been, we've gone through the process of identifying partners that can help you with the document preparation, the document review, the content management. We can sit with you and kind of look at your process and see how we can help you improve that with the right systems and the right tools, right? It's all about setting up the right support structure. And within this tool, there is this option to actually submit a request for RFP support. And this will alert the partners, and you can then engage in a conversation about what your needs are, and everything stays centralized to this platform. But you have a simple, easy way to build the right support around those RFP opportunities. All right, so I know it's a lot been said, but hopefully you can see that the Opportunity Clearinghouse is really designed to help you increase your chances for the win, right? Whether it's this database or helping you to just improve your existing workflows and business processes around this. What teams you may have. Maybe you have a database or you've signed up somewhere, but you still want to refine that process some more and have the best throughput. The Rfp Clearinghouse is that service line designed to help you analyze your RFP process and come up with a more effective solution. See, by using this, I believe that you can maximize access to quality corporate RFPs. We talked about it before. We looked at the Google search, and you saw that there were very few databases out there with access to corporate RFPs. The DC is constantly aligning with new corporations and doing that work of helping them vet and classify XBEs that would be a good fit, have a good opportunity. So we're constantly going to be getting opportunities that may be a good fit for you, right? And so of course, the Opportunity Clearinghouse will give you access to those. It will give you access to helping to find the needle in the haystack, right? Using AI, artificial intelligence, and metrics and different processes just to narrow it down. So instead of spending a lot of time or wasting time, you can quickly bypass the 35% of opportunities that are really no-goes or really not good fit. Imagine trying to spend that amount of time chasing after an RFP, knowing or coming to the realization that it wasn't a good fit for you from the beginning. Also, we're going through the process of also identifying and establishing key relationships. That's a central component and piece of this, right? Building relationships. As we know, the more connected you are, the better. No one is an island. No one stands alone. By helping and working together, as we do within the DC consortium, you can build a path towards a better RFP outcome. Again, some of the other side benefits of this is that, of course, having a database or having some system in place will help to empower your proposal team. It will give them something that they can use. It can also facilitate the quality of your responses if you align this along with your RFP repository, right? You can better the quality of your response, and of course, continually track that. And at the end of the day, the goal of the DC, the goal of this service offering is really looking to help XBEs win, so that you can impact the communities around you. Because we know that when the communities around you are impacted, lives are changed, the greater good happens, right? And that's what we are here for, to advance the greater good of those who are often marginalized, overlooked, disenfranchised. So I hope that makes sense. It's really something just to get you thinking about the topic, thinking about your approach, realizing that if you're attacking this the right way, then you're probably already losing. And so as it pertains to this process, the DC is here to try to help you establish or come up with a better process to enhance the opportunity of the win for you. So if anything I've said so far sounds interesting, please, feel free to reach out to ask questions and we'll see how we can help make those things a reality. Now, any questions? At this time, I'm just going to open it up to see if there are any questions from anyone in the audience in regards to the information that was presented.
Yeah, Greg, we've had a couple questions come in. The first one is, how can I be sure the Opportunities Clearinghouse will work for me and my company?
Yeah, that's a good question. And you're right. There, with any solution or anything that you're going to utilize, there's an element of risk, right? And so the question is, how can you mitigate or lessen the negative impacts from that risk? And I think one of the things that the Opportunity Clearinghouse tries to do in the process is to do an intelligent onboarding, so to speak, a smart onboarding. So building this report or smart report of a number of opportunities that would be a good fit. So looking at you as creating that profile up front, and looking at using that profile and looking at it against what's in the system. And if you're not a good fit, the system will kind of give you the report and let you know. So you don't have to really go and do that investment if there really isn't an opportunity for you, right? So that, I think, is one way of seeing whether the Opportunity Clearinghouse will work for you. Hopefully that answers that question. Are there any
Greg, second question we have is, what if I have questions on other RFP solutions or tools? Is that something the DC can help with?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, as I mentioned throughout, the DC is here to help be a conduit to your success. And if that involves, looking into your processes and seeing how those can be improved for RFP, as it pertains to the RFP, we'll be more likely to see if we can do that, or again, link you to our growing list of partner networks that may be able to help with that initiative.
Greg, we've got time for one more question here. It is, what if my company doesn't complete RFPs today?
Well, then, I'm assuming that you have a good network, and if the process is working, they say if it ain't broke, nothing to fix. So if your company really has a process that is working, you're able to gain the success and meet the goals and the vision and vision of your company, then this may not be something that you need to worry about. So kudos to whoever may have asked that question, and to whomever that is working for. But this is, really to help those. Typically, what you'll have, you'll see it in different areas, but if you're new to an industry or you're new to something, it's very hard getting in, right? Past experience is pretty much very important. If you don't have past experience, it's really hard. It's like the nursing student. I'll talk about a little bit here about my wife, but I remember she came out of nursing school and plenty of nursing jobs, but a lot of them are looking for experience. Kind of the same thing here. How can you, if you're a new small business, diverse business, how can you best align or find some of the partners or people to align with? And it's really the objective here. So, but if you have something that's working, again, kudos on that. Any other questions? Okay. Well, Jim, thank you so much. I'll turn it back over to you to close us out.
Well, Greg, thank you so much. And the content you gave us gives us a lot to think about. If you have any questions of Greg, you can certainly reach out to him on the Diversity Consortium website at thediversityconsortium.com. We thank you for being on this Service Line Micro call. It is part of the XBE Thrive series. We hold Thrive calls once a month. They're typically top line, topical, and give us the opportunity to kind of cover a lot of different things. There are different topics each month. We'll tend to speak on those calls. You can see and register for those on the Diversity Consortium website. When we encourage you to come and be a part of it. As we kind of dive down into the next layer of the micro topics, and these are much more specific. These get into the areas of marketing and sales and so on. You'll see the agenda for that. They happen monthly as well, and there are 10 to 12 of those each month. So please join on anything that would interest you there. And you can see the schedule on thediversityconsortium.com. Go to the events, and you should be able to see the schedule there. Just want to thank everybody for the time. Greg, thanks for your time, for the research you've done and the preparation. Certainly very helpful as we look to go grow business. Appreciate everyone's time and look forward to seeing you on the next XBE Thrive call. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Have a great day.